welcome back to Rob Loves Arguing, everybody. What was almost a festive day in Toronto last night. We were a couple outs away from winning the World Series. I haven't been, I don't want to be whatever about it because I didn't watch during most of the season. Is this as bandwagony as I've been with anything? But I wasn't, I was out of town last night. You can't plan your life around, I wonder what the unused ticket rate is in a city when something like that happens. When there's a game 7 of the finals, I'm starting to talk to him, so I might as well introduce him. As always, with me here, Daniel, the Anchor Sanker, is in the house. Everyone,
hello, welcome.
I'm gonna keep finding the anchor. We're
I'm
gonna
fine with
make
it.
you. Oh, I got. Hold on. We might as well say this now because I want to say we're gonna get you anchor merch at some point. But you might be noticing my hoodie here, the unwanted hoodie I've got available with me currently. Just if you come see me on the road. So this is a pretty regional plug for my merch currently. I guess if you DM me and you want me to ship it to you, I'll do that. But the best way currently to get this new Rob Loves Arguing merch, which I'll have on my Instagram probably soon. I really should probably already have it up on it. And I want to say, as much as I want to show you the picture on it, I want to show you the tag. That's a Comfort Colors tag. I want you to remember that when you go see a concert or you go see somebody who is selling a merch at a thing. I'm not even saying I don't know that much about it ultimately even. There's people who know more about it than me, but I know you want to see at least that. And that's, there's a great image, Garbage Pail Poppy on Instagram. So you can find that out of a Herschel roller bag that I bought. That's how excited we are about this merch, is I bought a Herschel roller bag for it. We're very confident that this merch is going to fly. It's particularly in Oshawa. I wish I was working Oshawa again soon because I feel like I would have sold less shirts there. It's really the best thing I can say about Oshawa. But we were on the east end of town today. So yeah, last night we were in Elora, and we were there seeing Salem Frights. There's a little town called Salem just outside of Elora, and there's this guy. He runs a business called Twisted Teas. Good guy. Want to give him a shout out. And he has a great haunted house, incredible haunted house that he does in his front yard. And so we had committed to go to that last night, which generally speaking, I'm not a big day after Halloween guy. I usually genuinely like a hard cut on my Halloween activities. You can't, just because it's Saturday. There was people in costumes downtown last night.
Oh, yeah, that's bullshit.
It's
over.
Because it's both grow up and your life sucks. It has the feeling of both, if that makes sense. You couldn't get away from whatever it is you do in your life on a Friday to be able to Halloween was on a Friday. We're not talking about a Wednesday Halloween here. We're talking about a Friday Halloween. That's as good as it gets.
Yes.
Practically, right? So, next year you're not even getting a Saturday. You're jumping right ahead to Sunday next year. Spoiler alert. I don't know how. Anyway, spoiler alert. So you're jumping right to Sunday next year. You don't even get a Saturday. You got to wait 8 years or whatever the fuck. I don't know how it works with leap years. You got to wait 7 years at least because it's going to go one by one. And then I think a leap year, I guess this is the year it fucks it. Whatever happens with days or whatever, it's going to be a while before you get a Saturday Halloween. So enjoy your Friday Halloween. And these people couldn't get out to enjoy a Friday Halloween, unless they're addicts, they're pure Halloween drug addicts who did both nights. But that seems, you know what I mean? I don't know what answer is better. Either you couldn't find somebody to do, you couldn't get away from work early enough to do Friday Halloween. You needed Saturday day after day Halloween.
The best excuse I can think of is a house party. You plan the house party. Everyone's like, Halloween is kind of tight. We whatever. It's Friday after work, so we go Saturday house party, and that way no one sees you though. Only those people.
What a suburbs answer, first of all, but what a fucking suburbs answer. No, I mean, I suppose, but this is not these folks. I don't want to overly disclose my location. I don't want to get Charlie Kirked in my own home. But I, it's busy. We're down here. It's busy. So like, I would hazard a guess these people weren't bouncing between houses. But I do understand. I guess that. But then you got to do it the Saturday before. You can't do it the day after. Anyways, this guy runs a business. So if you want the Saturday, I don't begrudge him the Saturday. And apparently this is the last year he's going to do it. I hope it's not. But we decided to book it back in case the Jays won. Best drive ever from Elora to Toronto. Fucking tastic.
Yeah.
All you want good traffic?
Mm-hmm.
Drive during a huge national event. I wish Gord Downie could die every day. So that traffic could be, if we could just have one national treasure perform for us one last time and then we send them to death. That's really how did entertainment not learn from Gord Downie's last performance? Do you know what I'm talking about, Sanker, or are you too brown?
I don't. I know. I don't
sick.
know at all.
That's so sick that you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm Gord Downie,
the lead singer of the Tragically Hip.
Oh, I've heard of that group.
I've heard of that group. What are you, a fucking Fed? I've heard of that group. It's like you just wrote "fuck" or "anti-ice" on a bullet and put it in someone's head.
I've heard the name. I've heard of that group. They do rock adjacent.
Absolutely, rock and roll music.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
right.
Absolutely. They're a rock and roll band. Their music's at work. They're a Canadian national treasure. They never really became a big thing in the U.S. They have a very famous moment on SNL. They did SNL once when Dan Aykroyd was the host, and I never really cared about the Tragically Hip until I moved to America, and then it was like the same thing. Like I never defended Tim Hortons until I moved to America.
Right.
You go there and then you see the shittier things, and then you start going like, oh, that wasn't so bad after all, and then you kind of get whimsy for it, whatever. And so I ended up loving, and as an artist, Gord Downie's thing, Canadian artists die really good. Like, we die the best, for sure. You think Gord Downie, so this massive Canadian band, he gets brain cancer, noggin rot.
Yeah.
They call it.
I lost a friend to that.
You lost a friend to the nog rot.
Yep.
Yeah. So Gord Downie gets a wicked case of the fucking liquid head. And but he has time enough to know he can do this one last tour, and so ironically, I think it was before this Blue Jays World Series. I think that was the last time I saw as many people mad at Ticketmaster as they were about the price of the Jays tickets.
Right.
Was when they saw the ticket price for this tour, and so his last concert was broadcast across the nation, and the number, it was like 20 million people tuned in, which is 2/3 of the entire country.
Oh,
so
wow.
like, think about that. Like, nothing. What can you get 2/3 of a country to watch, right? Like, that's an incredible way to go out.
Yeah.
It's his emotional concert. You know that this is this guy's like last time doing this. It's like so, whatever. It's beautiful. It's like, if we could do that, like I wish there was like a celebrity doctor, not Dr. Phil. It needs to be like a real doctor, whatever.
Dr. Drew?
Dr. Drew would be great. I trust Dr. Drew. You know what? I think we all have had Dr. Drew in our life long enough now that we've built up enough trust with Dr. Drew to do this. Mm-hmm. Is that he looks after all the celebrities. He's a celebrity doctor. But if they find something wrong with them, we get to tour them around for a year, like as a you're gonna die, tour. They all get a you're gonna, and we make all of our and let's just do it as Canadian celebrities, because Norm, another great death, he doesn't say anything about it. That's kind of contrary to what I'm saying, I guess. Norm sort of did it the opposite way of Gord Downie. He was sort of a reverse Gord Downie. He had the cancer and didn't tell anybody and just died quietly, whereas Gord Downie put on a good show about it. I'd say equally fun, but for different reasons.
Sure. Both a certain amount of dignity to it.
Yeah, I suppose just our musicians. Let's ixnay celebrity. When Avril Lavigne gets brain cancer, we better see a big Avril Lavigne brain cancer tour and then final concert, so that traffic is really good between Elora and Toronto.
It doesn't work the same. The more as you mention her, like a nice goodbye doesn't work for every artist, because some just don't have the emotionally deep songs that would allow for a final tour.
You don't think that we could all appreciate a woman with noggin rot, and they all get brain cancer. I don't know why. Now I just realize every one of them gets brain cancer for some reason. Something in the microphones.
No.
Yeah, they all get brain cancer. And well, anyways, this is like a third Avril Lavigne, anyways, isn't it? Isn't she? She's been cloned like 3 times, I think, at this point. But whatever version of Avril Lavigne we have at the time when nobody has died recently, you know what I mean? She's a good one to keep in the pocket with this one. I wouldn't, just because we kill and make new Avril Lavignes all the time, I think there's no reason to rush it with her. Rush, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We should fucking do that with, we already lost Neil Peart. Could we just get Geddy Lee somewhat slow brain cancer? Like, Rush is about to go on tour. And I looked at it and I went, they don't have Neil Peart. I don't really care to see Rush. But you know what I would see Rush? If Geddy Lee had brain cancer.
And he was doing a final performance?
Nah, I probably wouldn't see that. But there's an example that makes sense. Something where I could afford it still, like a smaller example. If Chaos.
Yeah.
Remember Chaos, the K-OS?
Yeah. Knowledge of self.
Yeah. If Chaos got brain cancer, and he will, excuse me. Yeah, what am I? Grammatically, I'm fimble-fumbling. When Chaos gets brain cancer, when he does his tour, I think, and the rooms will be smaller and the ticket price will be lower, but I will buy the ticket for Chaos's brain cancer tour.
If I was to hear from what I hear, if he was to die of anything, it'd probably be liver problems.
Oh, Chaos! Does he have a little? I think I saw a picture of him kind of ripped. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I thought maybe. But I would look for that alcoholic bloat. You think he's a bit of a boozer, Chaos?
Well, I just heard stories from friends who went to his concerts back in the day, and he showed up pretty. That could have been a time. Maybe that was a time of his life.
Do you know who I can confidently say that about with 2 interactions I've had with this man in my life is
Lee Fernandez.
Yes. Detroit rapper, real name, no gimmicks, Obi Trice.
Oh, really?
Yes, Obie Trice. I was once Obi Trice's. He did an after party at a bar I worked at.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really have a VIP section for him to sit in, so we just put like a rope around a table and called it his VIP section, and I got to stay and determine who got to talk to Obi Trice or not, which was fun.
Yeah.
And he did tip me $100, so positive first interaction, but he got pretty loaded. And then the second time, about 3-4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I went to go see him in Chicago, and he didn't go out till 11, which I know rap concert, but still. And then he was just, I think he was holding a bottle of something.
Yeah.
And it was just a mess. Obi was a mess. Obi Trice, get your life together. You need some Dr. Drew. And if you get brain cancer, I'll see the tour.
Absolutely, I'd go to that.
Trice's brain. He might need other people on the lineup. You know what would be great is if we could start getting multiple, in America, if you just have, in Canada, if one of our celebrities gets brain cancer, you can do a big tour and special about their brain cancer. But in the U.S., you're gonna need some double bill brain cancers. You know what I mean?
Rappers don't die slow as much,
Yeah.
so this might be a more like rock thing. Although Black Rob, if we had gone to his, he died slow.
Um, is that the name of a Black Rob song, or am I just not
No,
unaware of how
He
Black Rob died?
he died and he's slow. They had pictures of him in the hospital. He was like, and it was more sad because everyone was like, "What happened to Black Rob?" And then
And it was
somebody
just
was like, "Here's Black Rob," and he was in the
Malignant
hospital.
cancer. He had flesh-eating disease that didn't, but he had a lot of flesh. I couldn't really tell you much about Black Rob, except for that I always thought it was humorous because my name is Rob, and went, oh, that one's Black Rob, and I'm
You regular
normal
Rob. Yeah, White Rob.
Yeah. Well, I was living my own perspective at the time, Sanker.
Oh, I see. So
You know what I
just-
mean? I didn't look at it as I was White Rob. I looked at it as I was,
Well, I
you know.
I think that's a fair trade-off. I think you look at him as Black Rob, and he probably just calls himself Rob, and he calls you White Rob.
He should go. Yeah, absolutely. So he's formally Black Rob. So he's like, call me Black. My name is Black Rob, but my friends call me Rob.
Yes, he's Heaven Rob now, but
Yeah. So, could you want to see what he died from?
sure.
Let's find out what Black Rob died from. But anyways, so we got to this open house today, and we've been going to these open houses for not a particular, like sometimes with real genuine interest, and then sometimes we see a $4.4 million house in the beaches, and so, but it's just great because like this is what like jobs being meaningless has done for the world, is that you can just trick real estate agents. Like they just can't judge anymore. Like rich people don't look rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there is just no way to delineate anymore who's serious and who just wants to walk around a $4 million house because they were visiting their sister and they stopped and had Chinese food at the Goof, and then walked down and saw a $4.4 million home that we stayed an entire hour in this afternoon. We spent
that's
a full hour in this home. And so, but credit to the agents. Joey and man, it's not honest. We'll put it in the we'll put in the description and in the whatever, we'll plug them. I'll literally plug them on my whatever. Yeah, we'll do that. Lovely ladies, because the disparity in like you got to be very careful as a real estate agent, because every little thing you do, like people are going to see a lot of places, and the comparisons can be made very quickly. Like a lot of pastries at these open houses. By the way, if you're just, a lot of people think you need a Costco membership to just go around sampling things all day.
Yeah.
People do not realize if you just go on realtor.ca and look up open, you can snack all day. Like there's a little bit more effort involved. Like if you were to do this at Costco, you'd go from the distance between the dips and where they have the giant shepherd's pies, but to get another sample. You know what I mean? Like that's about as far as you're walking. You're going between giant beef jerkies and when you get mayonnaise in the tub that looks like you got to use like have you ever seen a tub of mayonnaise that looks like you would use a crowbar? Like it looks like it's for paint and for mayonnaise.
Yes.
Okay. So you walk basically between the jerky and the mayonnaise that's that size, and that's how far you're walking for a sample. Open house sampling does require you to walk you might get a couple kilometers in the end, which is good because you should, like there should be some walking involved in this. But if the weather's nice, people don't do this enough anymore. I feel like open houses have kind of lost their thing, and like, so what you should do on a nice Sunday afternoon, look for a few open houses. And if you live in like a scary trash neighborhood, and a lot of you do, then go for a drive. Go on, look for where, better people than you might live, and like find a cluster of people who are doing better than you that are having open houses, and go hit them up, and you'll get a cookie, a bag of popcorn, like a microwavable bag of popcorn's big, and that one's nice because then you're not even eating it at the time. You just later you have popcorn if you want it, but you got to be you got to be careful because cookies and pastries, there's a hierarchy to these things. So very quickly, the first open house we went to a couple weeks ago had Craig's cookies, which is exactly.
Yeah.
It's a soft, good cookie. And then I'd say one or two open houses later, they had just Tim Hortons, a box of Tim Hortons donuts, which is nice. But if we had gone to Tim Hortons first, thanks for the donut. But after you get a nice Craig's cookie, then you're not going to buy that house. So it says a lot about you. You're almost better off with nothing in a way. Like sometimes you're definitely better off with nothing. One lady at one of the showings we went to gave us a cheese knife.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
grab
could
the
be
cheese
nice.
knife if you could. If it's not going to obstruct too much to grab it, let's show everybody this cheese knife. That like it was a nice lady. It was a junior one bedroom. It wasn't a big space. And at the end, she gives us a box and she goes, "Oh, I just like on the way I want to give it to you." And it's a cheese knife. It's a knife, like it's. That's a pretty fucking. That's a
very nice
decently
knife.
sharp knife.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wish I had something to, but it like a, and like on the way. So we're carrying this knife out of the building, and I can't help but think to myself, how are more? And I'm not encouraging this in any way. It's listen, the amount that we have right now is either too much or or just enough. I want to stress there shouldn't be any more of this. But the fact you don't hear about more real estate agents raped and killed at showings is like pretty wild. This is a lot of times just an Eastern European lady sitting alone in a house, and then sometimes they hand you cheese. And this lady was just like, "Hey, in case you wanted to kill me, have this. My sister does drop shipping, and I got too many of these, and so now I want to hand you a murder weapon at this open house." And it was honestly, it was good value to view the Lakefront. It's still listed. It was October 29th. It was supposed to be offer day. We've kept a peek. The price seems to have stayed the same. So I don't know how well offer day went. They haven't raised or lowered it yet, but hey, we have our eye. Hey, we'll keep an eye on you. But we got but this lovely cheese knife. We'll never forget. They say when you're a real estate agent, you're supposed to give somebody something that makes you remember them. And the lady that gave a complete stranger a knife in a room alone with them is something I'm not soon to forget.
It's fascinating.
I'll never hire her because I don't want. You do understand what it does to property value? That is actually really irresponsible. You've so negatively hurt the value of their home. If you're the reason, if you're raped and killed with the knife that you gave somebody in somebody's home, that actually is incredibly detrimental to the value of their home. Like, you have to disclose that.
I'm just so jealous. That is such a nice knife. That's the only thing I think of right now is the amount of cheese I could cut.
I can give you the listing of the open house. We should list.
Just have a bunch of people show up.
Show up for cheese knives, or to rape and kill her, which is why we won't do that. But yeah. But I honestly though, I guess let me rephrase the way I'm putting this. What I would like to say is, thank you guys and girls out there for not raping and killing real estate agents as often as you think you might, based on the vulnerability of the situation they're placing themselves in, because I think that shows great constraint. And open houses are fun, and you can get Craig's cookies. And if you do too many of the shenanigans, you won't get Craig's cookies. So, anyways, that was one. There's an end of the spectrum on the real estate agent thing. Today we visited a lovely $4.4 million home in the Beaches area. We decided that, and again, you have to really plan your fake life out when you're doing this. And so, like, everywhere we go, I remember one place we were looking at, I was going to do a social club. Was whatever. You got to, like, so this one, like, we walk around the neighborhood. Like, we genuinely, this one looked right out into the beach. They had, I'm not going to overly say where the place was. You know, I almost couldn't plug them because I didn't I haven't said a single thing about raping or murdering them. They didn't give us any knives or nothing. But two lovely ladies. This property's so awesome. This house was beautiful, and but for $4.4 million, and it's so we go in and like super inviting. We're the only ones in. No one could hear them scream, and awesome house. Finishes great. You could tell it's like kooky vibes. The ladies. I believe the one like had a TV job. Like we're trying to put it together. You got to remember in the beginning, it's hard to retain you. It takes a while for you to build your relationship with them because you're living such an open lie in the first 10 minutes of being in the house. Like everything just has to be like everything. You're so unnaturally defensive about all of your things.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, yeah, anyways, yeah, the weather, yeah, man, but you can make some money in weather like this. You know what I'm saying, girls? Like, you just, like, want them to think that you can, like, afford to be there, so you're just trying everything you can to whatever. And so, but they're lovely, and one lady had, like, worked on TV, so she knew we had, like, mutual people that we knew, and we were chatting, and then the other ladies got my girl over with her talking, and they're drinking fucking mushroom tea. It turned out to be mushroom tea. Chaga. They were having chaga. You ever have some chaga, Sanker? I feel like you might have chaga sometimes.
No, but mushroom tea meaning hallucinogen.
Not a psilocybin. Yeah, with those ladies, I don't know. Like, I feel like if we had just locked the door and offered to fuck the two ladies, they would have been totally down. Like, I mean, I feel like they were of older age, but
Yeah.
they later looked at around the end of our visit. They looked at it said and a beautiful woman for her age, like, you know, and like, but she looked at my girl and went, "Oh, do you model?" And then she was like, "No, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, okay, good. It's a job that brings you to nowhere and leaves you there." And I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened? But and by the way, what's funny about that is what happens right before, which is after we tour the entire house, we take our time, like, because again, we're looking at fixtures, like, oh, this would be the podcast room, and like, oh, overlook. Like, yeah, we're like, and we're going over every foot of this for fucking no reason at all. And like, just with a fine tooth comb going over this property. And great job. Wonderful house. Whoever can afford that house, you should get that house. 2 Park Avenue. I remember it now. 2 Park Avenue, which sounds fake. It's like, that's the real house that exists in Toronto. But, when it was done, she was like, "Oh, let me bring you up and let's do some relaxation and breath work." And so she like laid me and Kennedy down on a mat with like a pad up our spine and whatever, and then put like a little heated pad on our eyes and just played. Now, it was sold to us a little harder than the actuality in the beginning. She said she was going to play the Tibetan, that thing where you rub the salad bowl around, but it makes like a sick noise.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have it at there's always a store in the mall that's going out of sale, closing sale all the time, but they sell those. Yeah, a rusting. Yeah. I feel, doesn't every mall in every small town have a store that has a banner that says it's going out of business, but it's been there for like 6 years, and it always says it's going out of business? I feel like they sell those bowls.
Yeah.
There all the time. So it was over her phone. It wasn't the real bell or the real thing.
Oh, that
she just played the sound like off her phone, and then it's a big house. So at one point she wandered away too far, and it like disconnected. it started getting
funny.
skippy or whatever, and so a full 10. By the way, it blew my mind when she said 10 minutes. Like, I have no idea how you felt about it in the moment, but like when she was like, "Oh, we're going to do this little thing, whatever." And she's like, "I'm just going to go for like 10 minutes. I'll be right back." I'm like, 10 minutes? Like, that's fucking crazy. That was so long in my head. I don't know. It went by nice. It was lovely. They had like 3 balconies, great house. But anyways, and no weapons were given. Lovely chocolate. I did enjoy the chaga tea. It honestly was just a mental barrier once I knew it was mushroom tea. I don't know. It was hard to get through. It was just, I could just see it, like the color changed on me. It was funny that we have a tendency of like always trying to find a spot to go rip bowls too before, like before we're going to this $4.4 million house. We parked at a beach club across the street and then just ducked down next to the fucking car while we ripped bowls. anyways, that's the real estate corner. Again, keep those numbers down. I like that we're not murdering real estate agents. Let's keep that up. More open houses.
Yeah, I just as a quick tip, if you can't reach an open house, I was listening to the Costco thing. Apparently, if you have a Costco gift card, you can go into a Costco. So if you first have to convince someone to buy you a Costco gift card, but then you can just hold on to that forever, never buy a single thing, and get in.
Well, okay. Question.
Uh-huh.
Does it have to have a balance on it for you to get into the Costco with a Costco gift card?
I don't know. I've just heard this, that
Because
you're allowed to go to Costco.
Couldn't you then ultimately just show? Oh, but at the checkout, checkout you would need to use the gift card, so you would have to use the card, so it would become valueless each time you used it. But I guess what you could do is you could constantly buy yourself Costco gift cards. Yeah, you could just go to a store then and buy yourself a Costco gift. That's a great hack. You could just go to the store, buy yourself a Costco gift card, use the gift card to pay for the groceries, and then just do it again the next time.
Yes, there's a way. I know I've been told this before, but you know what?
That's the way, Sanker. What an insult! I just said the whole way. That's it. You go to a gas station, you pick up a Costco gift card.
Yes. That.
Yeah,
yes.
you don't have to go into the Costco to get. Although you know where's a great place to get Costco gift cards? It's Costco.
Costco.
They love them.
They must have them.
Yeah. We're always tempted by those movie packages.
Oh, they're supposed to be very good. I never bought them.
Like it's a good value. 2 movies. 2 regular popcorns, soda, it's like $30.
Wow.
You know, you go see yourself a nice flick about the Nazis or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I saw Sinners the other day. That was pretty good.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen Weapons yet?
No, not yet.
Weapons is fantastic. There wasn't a lot of from what we saw Halloween costume-wise this year, there wasn't nearly as many of the things we would have expected. Very few Hulk Hogans. Or none. Didn't see any Charlie Kirks. Who? No Aussies, oddly enough. Just whores. Did no whores die this year? I guess that's the biggest thing is you need a whore to die.
For them to dress like.
Yeah. Unless a whore dies, who are you going to dress like? When Elvira dies, holy good gracious.
Yeah, that's going to throw out some...
There's something I just don't understand about Elvira. I genuinely have no concept in which period Elvira was famous and how old Elvira is. Like, I don't know. To me, like, I see Elvira and I'm like, is this a thing from the 50s? Like, what is this from? But then that would make her like an 80-year-old lady, and I don't think that's the case.
Oh.
Like, when was Elvira... Like, what do we... I've never really fully understood Elvira. I mean, tits. But, like, aside from that...
Yeah, she's got big tits. That's her main thing. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark is a 1988 American comedy horror film.
88. All right. Well, I guess 88 and made shittily. Like, you know, it was like, I think it was B-movie stuff, right? So that kind of places it 50s feeling in my head as a kid.
I think they were also going for like a whole old school look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's that guy? Vincent Price, like just a little old school with everything.
Yeah. Ed Wood. No? Okay. I just thought that would make sense. You know who Ed Wood is?
That sounds very familiar.
Tim Burton made a movie about him. Of course, Johnny Depp was in because I think
They do.
one of the two of them have pictures of the other one fucking children because they will not separate on things. Is this a rerun on the podcast that when I lived in England, I used to walk by Tim Burton's house every day and scream at it?
No.
Yeah, I used to scream at Tim Burton's house. He had a mansion in Camden Market area.
Yeah.
And I just don't like Tim Burton, so I'd yell at his house.
Oh, okay.
That's
I wasn't
kinda
sure if it was a positive or a negative.
It was a negative.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of like, your movies are all derivative of each other. Like, it's, have an original thought.
I think I like Tim Burton, but like you're right.
You can watch one Tim Burton movie.
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah. He does a lot of.
I feel the same way about Wes Anderson. I like Wes Anderson movies, but I'm good enough.
Yes.
I don't need any more. We have enough.
Yes.
It's like I was just telling.
Quirky.
What?
Quirky. There's a lot of quirk.
In just all of there's directors that their movies are all in such a similar style that you're sort of like, you don't need to keep, like, we have, once you've reached a certain quantity of them, you're like, you're good now.
Yeah.
There's enough of this in the world for us to exist forever. I never need another spooky adult animation film forever. Like, we will have enough to the end of time, Tim Burton. Mm-hmm. We're good. We don't need any more, like, yes, quirky, the entire cast is acting autistic movies. You know what I mean? And Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
like,
that's him.
Yeah. Like, we're good. We're at our fill. We appreciate you for your contribution to society. We will put those in a nice box set and let's give you brain cancer and let you make one last movie with brain cancer and send you off into the sunset, and we're good. All right, we're back. So a common argument I find I'm having online is I think this is a thing that sort of, again, this is the Marin claiming like a right-wing grift in comedy or whatever. And I know me saying the word right-wing grift in comedy as I have the faces of right-wing figures all put next to me. But I think that a lot of times what I find is the people on the left don't fully understand who each cultural figure on the right is. I think they think there's a real monolith in right-wing culture, a real monolith in like Trump supporters or whatever. And so we decided to put together this little board of all the heads. I picked like a sample sizing of, I realized this is going to cause a problem with primetime Alex Stein. I forgot him. The honorable mention. I feel like maybe we go through a few honorable mentions in that didn't make the board, but that was I'll throw them out if I think of them. But obviously I didn't think of them, or I probably just. I mean, this is just a
have included them.
What?
You would have included them if you thought of them.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to hold. We didn't. The board's pretty big, as you can see. There wasn't really a limitation, and I didn't overly think the bit over as far as what I'm going to do with all of these. And also, by the way, I said Sagar, not Sanker. I know that I could be.
Oh, you're thinking of different.
That's oh no, that's who I dropped. It just sounds
a
lot like you.
Yeah.
Sagar is instead of Anchor Sanker, it would be blank Sagar. Huh. Well, in the comments you can fill it underneath. Anyways, so I was just gonna go over all the figures. I think we have a good view of this, so this is a computer screen. You can't tell. We have we put a filter on it to look like a whiteboard, but this is actually like a giant you can see the edges of the iPad that we put together here, and it's touchscreen technology that we have. So I went through. Now you can remember. I'm gonna just to keep everybody clear. Most of these people, all of these people except for one are alive. One of them is no longer alive now. So I'm gonna turn Charlie Kirk upside down, just so we can keep it clear in everybody's heads who on this is alive and who has passed already. So, there's a divergent figure. There's sort of a couple eras of conservative punditry in here. I'm going to point out some of the more OG ones here in the, there is like, all these people have genuine connections. There's connections here, and then with, Dave up there, and certainly connections there and there to lead us all the way along, to these ones around there, because there's some diversion there, and then there up to Charlie, across and across, as you can see. And but they all have unique views. That took too much time for that bit. Anyways, at the head of the dick, you've got Tucker and Gavin, and I think that they're a good representation of the early sort of wave. Tucker being, of course, establishment, and man, I would have been really smart had I arranged them on the dick. Maybe I could rearrange on the dick. So let's go kind of more establishment and a little less. So we're gonna put him over there, a little less that. We'll put dead Charlie over here. There. We'll move. Okay. All right. So sorry. So dead Charlie here. We'll start off at, when I explain people, is at where the ball sack, which by the way, a terrifyingly sensitive piece of skin, where Kirk is at right now. I would say as sensitive as the flesh of his neck that they pierced with a bullet. But so Charlie Kirk, Christian conservative. You have to these people that are like, oh, but he said really crazy, things. He was so anyone who thinks that Charlie Kirk had extremist positions, God bless them if they ever meet a devout Muslim or something. You know what I mean? It's just, he was just kind of a religious fella who had a show where he debated you. There was nothing particularly ethno-statey about him. People just tend to, so a lot of the people on this board suffer from being a part of clips, and left wing kind of taking clips and sort of making them who we think they are. And I think that Charlie kind of became a guy who got very victimized by clips. Also made him, he couldn't have survived without the clips. But ultimately, they were what were allowed to be used sort of unfairly to frame his point of view on things. What did you think about Charlie Kirk?
I'd seen a couple of his things. I'm not really deep into this stuff. I probably.
Well, that's a good thing to admit when you're. I don't care about any of this.
No, it's not that I don't care about it, but I was very surface level. I would see a clip and I'm like, oh yeah, I know of this gentleman.
You saw a clip and you're like, I agree with everything he's saying.
I would go probably a couple of them. He made good points, and then others I was like. He's just not my cup of tea.
Well, I mean, I have a very easy point of divergence with a lot of the people on this whiteboard dick, which is just religion in general. And I have come around a long way on my thoughts of religion. I was a very anti-religious kid. I remember when I was in, I think the 10th grade, having a little ceremony at my friend Carly Erber's house. We denounced my Catholicism. I had grown up Catholic. And I would if you ever wanted to teach me something, you could only get me to do it defiantly. So when we were supposed to read every day in class, I wouldn't because they expected you to just be a normal kid that read a book. I would read the Bible or the dictionary or something that showed them I believe as Rage Against the Machine put it so succinctly, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, right?
Yes.
Got it. And
yes, I heard that song.
Yes, good. Well, you weren't too brown for that. Too brown for Charlie Kirk, but not too brown for a little Rage Against the Machine.
Lead singer, black guy, isn't he?
Hispanic.
Hispanic, okay.
I'd put him under Hispanic,
okay.
I would say. Is ICE catching black people?
They went for Haitians, and that didn't work out as well for them because they kind of
bited them.
They showed up in huge protest in one area of New York.
I also thought the Haitians had a legal exemption because the Clintons destroyed their country on purpose.
They should. I don't know if they do.
I thought there was something, and that I thought that was why Trump was particularly targeting them about the dog eating and everything in Springfield, which is like a hilarious choice to pick because like The Simpsons, there's so many Springfields. Like the reason The Simpsons picked Springfield as the name of the city is because like
It's so
every
common.
state has a Springfield in it. So it would take you forever to figure out which one they were referencing. But I figured it was like, wait, what was my point? Anyways, Haitians reading dogs. Back to the board. We've got Ben Shapiro, who is basically Charlie Kirk, but he openly wore the yarmulke. Charlie Kirk wore the yarmulke in his heart, when he should have been wearing the yarmulke right here on his neck. If Charlie Kirk had just kept the protection of a neck yarmulke,
Yeah.
he would have. But then Charlie Kirk, in a series of text messages, which over here, Candace Owens, I said our lead-in, Candace Owens, she has exposed. So here, we're going to start putting veins on the dick, I think. She exposed that not necessarily him, but let's just say, people who wear the neck protection that he should have wore that day, the yarmulke neck protection. She's insinuating that the Ben Shapiros had Charlie Kirk killed because Charlie Kirk was leaving the Ben Shapiro people because he wanted to hang out with the Dave Smith people. So here's another important factor. As a matter of fact, the dick bit, I think, has run its course. We're going to go ahead and just move some things around now. So when it comes to this particular, if everybody wants to know about the Charlie Kirk thing, and then we can move on to some other people here. Here are the people involved in the situation right now. There's, of course, dead Charlie Kirk. Now, Ben Shapiro himself not involved, but we are going to, for the purposes of this demonstration, just consider Ben Shapiro the nation of Israel, which should give Ben Shapiro a hard-on almost as raging as the one his sister gives him. The idea of him being all of Israel should give him that. And then we're going to go with Dave Smith over here. Now, we're going to move over here. This is sort of the intellectually section, we'll call it. There. This is going to sort of just be, the ball sack section is going to sort of just be like inflammatory, trollish type things. We're going to put Sanker. Cottage chair in my studio apartment.
That's correct.
And then, so we're gonna leave all of these. We'll make some decisions on them after. But this is the head of the dick's gonna be kind of straight down the news, straight down the lane news media. So Tucker and Sagar are sort of your news guys in the Republican world, right? Tucker has been way better since leaving Fox. He's been very open about being like, first of all, he's just so open about, like, he was a party boy, clearly. Like, Tucker liked to fucking get down a little bit with some drank.
Yeah.
Tucker likes some drank.
I heard.
You could tell you would like hanging out with Tucker because all he does on his podcast is sell meat. Like, guaranteed at some point skimming through this podcast, you're going to be like, it's going to have that down. He's got like country twang music that he plays. And then he's going to sell you like a bag of meat sticks. And that's why I kind of like, it's hard not to like him in some ways because you're like, I don't know, I like a bag of meat sticks. Like, I kind of, if I was going to buy anything off my podcasters, chances are
meat sticks.
Bag of meat sticks. And then Sagar from Breaking Points. Breaking Points is just the news you should get. If you're like, even if you're like boomer, listen, I don't know why a boomer would be watching this. I have so few people watch this still currently that I can't imagine any of them are old. But if you are, you can trust Breaking Points. It's not scary. By the way, I left Alex Jones off of this board because in my heart, Alex Jones is still bipartisan. I'm, as a left winger, I'm not giving Alex Jones away. He belongs to us too. Thank you very much. So Alex Jones was not included on this board.
Sure.
But he's not as scary. Sagar is not, and Crystal on Breaking Points. These are not scary, ookie dookie, the fluoride in the water, even if maybe that's true, we'll discuss that. But they're not that. This is news that you can just trust. Honestly, Tucker is kind of what I was talking about with Charlie. I think a lot of things Tucker's become very reasonable on, but then occasionally he's like, but I see demons sometimes, and I have to pray to Christ. And you're like, okay, all right, with religion-y stuff. Is a little hard sometimes once he gets too religious for me, and I got to take a little tuck break. I take a bite of my meat stick, and I say, I'm going for a walk, Tucky. Tucky. He also used to wear a bow tie. He's part of one.
Yes, he did. I forgot about that.
One of the one day there's going to be a great biopic on Jon Stewart. Like I've been saying this for like 10 years now that the biopic on Jon Stewart will be very good. Maybe the most important comedian who's ever lived. I think Jon Stewart. Rogan could arguably be, and I'm talking important.
You mean, political adjacent comedian?
Yeah, influence. Let's say influence. Political doesn't feel right. I think Jon Stewart was the most influential comedian for a period of time. They said that like everyone our age, from whatever percentage of us got our news from the Daily Show, he was in our lives. Like, because people will argue like Carlin or Pryor or any of these people, and it's like we didn't talk to them every day. That we didn't have them every day.
Right.
They came out with something every so often.
I would also argue that Pryor and Carlin are the most influential comedians on comedians, but if you're talking about influential to the world, like to just anyone listening, yeah, I might put Jon Stewart above them.
But yeah, that's exactly it. Influential to the entirety of the world. It is Mobs Maybell.
Mobs Mabley or whatever.
Yeah. That lady, Al Jolson, and I had a really passionate debate one day with ChatGPT about Al Jolson and blackface, but that's for another episode.
You argued with ChatGPT?
Yeah. I push back on my ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
I hold my ChatGPT accountable. You know what I mean? You know what I've also realized with AI, I think, is that we're so afraid of AI like becoming too smart and taking over, but we forget that AI is talking to us all day and all night. And I think I've noticed a noticeable decline in the intelligence of my AI. Like, I think we are collectively making artificial intelligence stupider because it's only sucking off information and questions that we're giving it. So collectively, our retardation is being downloaded into the AI. It's not becoming smarter. It's getting dumber. Like, we go to it with our dumbest questions.
Yeah, I also have this weird argument that artificial intelligence, as we call it, is not actually artificial intelligence. It's the same thing we've had in video games for a long time, where we're setting it to have certain responses based on situations, but it's not actually adapting to the situations and changing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a...
Because occasionally, if it was actually intelligent, I would ask it a question and it would say, fuck off. You know what I mean?
There'd be some sort of divergence from what we require it to do.
Yeah. It would go, that's dumb and a waste of my time. And conversely, a waste of your time. And have a good day. Like, that's what actual intelligence would do. Anyways, you can trust Tucker now. All the people who trusted Tucker, if you trusted Tucker back at Fox, you shouldn't have, and shame on you. Now that he's independent, Sager's independent, you can trust the head of the dick here. Up here, this is like the intellectual class, we'll call them on the right. You have your standard Jordan Peterson. I think most people understand Jordan Peterson. I, to this day, cannot make my bed without thinking about Jordan Peterson. Like, whatever he's done, he has burrowed his way into my head on at least that issue. If my bed is unmade, I hear Jordan Peterson go, make your bed,
I still have an affinity for him. I'm more, I think I forgot to say this properly. I'm a more center-left type person.
Sure.
I still enjoy a little Jordan Peterson. He has some sense to him.
I think the most important thing is when he was a professor still, he would do a seminar on how we can all be Nazis and how, the people in Germany weren't all just a bunch of bad people who were like wanted to be bad people, whatever. But like they got convinced into that, and you could probably get convinced into it, and don't always think that it's impossible for it to be you because that's how they make it you and whatever. That's important. That's good. Curtis Yarvin, also interesting argument. What I know him from, interesting argument, is about the monarchy. Now, and again, you're really not supposed to hate these two. Like, you shouldn't hate the Sagar and Tucker. There's no reason to hate them. Like, they're conservatives. So, yes, you disagree with them. Like, when you start hating them and calling them Nazis, when you start hating these two up here and calling them Nazis, that's where you have a real kind of issue. Because these are just down the line conservatives, and these are just kind of intellectual people who are really just... Jordan Peterson's supposed to be a thought experiment. Like, he got so exposed on that 20 verse 1 video where it's like Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists. And then halfway through, he's like, I don't believe in God, you know, like, and you're like, okay, so what are you doing here then? Like, but that's kind of the point. He's a contrarian.
Yeah.
He's he's trying to have a little bit of a thought exercise. Curtis Yarvin argues that we would actually be better off in a monarchy, because in a monarchy, the king or queen has to represent the entire kingdom, right? You can't just now a president, you represent the 47% of the country that got you elected, and you do things on their behalf, while the other 45% of the country that cares sits around and waits. And then there's like a 10% that just doesn't really give a shit anyways. They're eating cat food and fucking, in alleyways, and they just don't, you know what I mean? So they're just disinterested. But the ones that care, you're kind of just flip-flopping between someone who represents you and someone you hate and have to protest, someone who represents you, someone you hate and have to protest. A king has to represent as many people as they can in the kingdom, or they might cut his fucking head off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that was actually kind of, in a way, more democratic because you had, like, someone to answer to. Now, we could just start killing presidents. That is, you don't necessarily have to be a king for us to kill you. That would also maybe be a fun way of handling things. Not saying that directly to any particular politician. I've looked up the law on this. You are allowed to say you think presidents as a concept should be killed. You're not legally allowed to say, this is like a continuation from old Rob was arguing on this. I got a letter from CSIS about this, but you are allowed to make a blanket threat to the concept of the presidency, but not a particular president.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
It's a good learning lesson.
Hey, listen, I don't bring a whiteboard in that's actually an iPad for no reason. I'm trying to teach. So, top left corner here, dead Charlie Kirk, fucking kooky Candace Owens.
She's kooky for sure.
There's definitely something like, but like, you also have to remember that like we live in an attention economy. Like the problem with like having this argument about any of these people is everyone acts the second that you disagree with them, everyone's all of a sudden a retarded baby that like doesn't understand how the world works, and they can't get how like these people all exist in an attention economy, and so they have to do things to get attention. Like, do you know what predates all of these people? The Westboro Baptist Church.
Right.
And do you know what the actual purpose of the Westboro Baptist Church was? They were civil litigators. The father was a fucking civil rights lawyer. They knew that they had a First Amendment right to say what they were saying, and that people would continually violate their First Amendment if they were as egregious and as abhorrent as they could possibly be. That's the playbook of a lot of the heads you see on this board right here. It is, but it's not about lawsuits. It's about the attention economy. And that is, if I say the most provocative thing possible, I can exist in the attention economy. Oops, kicking my own camera. Sorry. Can you check to make sure that's... and that's what Charlie Kirk's biggest downfall was ultimately his positions were not really that more extreme than a normal evangelical Christian. He just lived in an attention economy. Your priest, your pastor isn't debating college students for a living. He's raping children. So Charlie wasn't spending all of his time. As far as like Christian, like it is funny that how much vitriol is pointed toward Charlie Kirk. As a religious guy, as far as we know so far, he hasn't fucked one kid. That makes him in the top 50% at least of religious people. Right off the rip. And these people hate him. It's crazy. But anyways, hasn't fucked a single kid, believes in God. That's talent, as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, dead Charlie, Candace believes, the Jew people, and it is funny because Dave is also one of them, but I don't count him, so she thinks that these people, the Ben Shapiros, killed Charlie because of the Dave Smith. And when I say the Dave Smith, I don't mean the Dave Smith people. I mean literally Dave Smith. Dave appeared at the Turning Point USA conference. Israel was not happy about it. And by the way, we speak like this. This is another thing. Is like it's the Alex Jones, they're turning the frogs gay thing. It's like, again, he lives in an attention economy. He didn't mean they're actually turning the frogs gay. He was citing a Princeton study that said that the frogs are becoming asexual, and frogs are super, super important in the ecosystem. Things that happen to frogs will happen to the rest of us. So anyways, blah, 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 whatever. Sometimes you guys say things provocatively. The Jews killed Ben Shapiro. Anyways, point is, you can kind of slide when we're not talking about Charlie Kirk. Dave, he's not a news guy. He lives somewhere in the space between the Jordan Petersons and the Curtis Yarvins and the Tuckers and the Sagars. I think that's a nice sort of curve of delineation right there. He's more often talking about issues and news, but he is more in the intellectual libertarian think tanky ideology section like a Jordan Peterson or a Curtis Yarvin. Candace is trying to do more news-ish, but she gets a little wackier than the other ones. Like, she also believes in demons. I love that she says fake and gay. That rules. I love that she just hangs out and talks about Kanye and just spends all day. Like, man, black nerds stick together. Like, that really is, like, if you're a fucking early 2000s black dork, you will have like, the Candace Owens, Kanye fucking thing. Chance the Rapper needs to just suck it up and start hanging out with Candace Owens. Ben Shapiro, we're going to put him right in the same lane as Candace. Essentially, you could kind of look at these two as the same sort of thing, Candace and Ben, except for if you love Israel, go with Ben. If you don't like Israel, you can go with Candace. Candace is good on certain things. That's another thing that liberals need to remember, is that, like, I remember when RT still existed, I would watch RT, that was Russia Today. I would watch RT for coverage on America, but I would never trust RT for coverage on Russia.
Right.
Right? I felt that they would hold America to account, but I'm not going to trust it on its own country. Maybe treat these people a little like that too. Check in with Candace. See what's going on. You don't have to agree with everything she says, but maybe it's just like fresh, crazy black eyes. Michael Malice, very kind of fun. He sort of belongs in the same Dave Smithy category of like it's sort of timely, less intellectual, wide open thought like that, more politics, but sort of same lane. Steven Crowder, I just find miserably unentertaining. Like, Steven Crowder feels like the hackiest version of all of these things. Like, and I don't even know that to be completely accurate. I think I just like Steven Crowder the least. You know what it is? It's because he was a comedian, I think, is the thing. And I know Dave still is a comedian. Dave still does Legion of Skanks. Crowder was just like sort of failed stand-up that did just learn a grift. So don't.
It's my dream.
Yeah. It's literally what we're doing right now.
If I could grift, if I could not have to do as much stand-up because I'm a grifter, I know like my art side will die, but I will be monetarily happy, and that's the most important happiness in the world.
Absolutely. Well, this is why we're still going to put out the pro-Israel episodes. Some I'm gonna start when it's a pro-Israel episode. I'm gonna say thank you to our lead-in Ben Shapiro, and then when it's whatever, I'm gonna say thank you to Candace. This is I can never get the order of this guy's name right. Patrick Bet David.
Bet David. Yeah.
So he falls into like a different thing. He's just like, I have a lot of money and I'd like to talk about what people that have a lot of money like to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk about how we continue to keep all the people with a lot of money having a lot of money. And that's sort of his entire thing. So this is sort of now we're going to get to this figure in a minute because he's the subject of this interview this week with Tucker. But I'll just address this lane really quickly. This is sort of we're here just to piss you off, and the reaction that people have to you. These people only over here sort of exist because liberals were so gay, and liberals were so gay. I knew that like people like Andrew Tate, Milo Yiannopoulos, Gavin, these people were created the moment that Mad Max Fury Road was about how women are awesome and men ruin the world. The second they took Mad Max away from us and made it about how women rule, I left the theater going, sick movie. We are going to put women in internment camps in like 20 years because the culture had turned on men to such a degree that you're like, well, this can't possibly have positive outcomes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like this is going to create a generation of really angry men who are still going to be biologically stronger than you, who are still going to be able to, no matter how many movies you make about us being shitty, no matter how many times you try to hurt our feelings with art, we're still going to be able to cave your head in if we feel like it. And so you should maybe not make an entire generation of young men feel like they're born pieces of shit and that everyone hates them and that they have no value and that they offer nothing to society, and that when the suicide rates in America get to be 85% male, that maybe we have like a real problem on our hands, and it is not misogyny to bring it up, that like the loss of actual careers has affected men in an entire way, that the opioid addiction affected disproportionately men, that if we have conversations about things that affect men, that is not misogyny, that we are not saying women's problems don't matter, that you guys didn't go through things. It's like you just wanted revenge. It was never about equalizing society. Women wanted their like 10-year fucking revenge period where everything that we had to stomach in fucking culture for 10 years was just like, it was all an episode of Girls. Everything that you watched was an episode of Girls. Like it somehow like you were watching like, what are things that people watch? Like it was like it was Breaking Bad, but all of a sudden Lena Dunham's there for some reason. Like just everything had to have this infected into it. And that was naturally going to lead you to Gavin McInnes, Andrew Tate, and to a weirder, different degree, Milo Yiannopoulos. Now, Milo is gone ostensibly. They've sort of gotten rid of Milo. Although I will say, if a movie just puts Milo in it, that will be genius. If they just make Milo like a hilarious character in a movie, that would get a lot of media attention and ultimately do really well for the film. And I don't know why people aren't exploiting that more. Andrew Tate, when I'm thin, I get told I look like him a lot. Other than that, I think that's the natural reaction to telling men that they're evil all the time. And Gavin was the organized part of it, and I have a weird connection to that because I was around a lot when the Proud Boys were started. I had also had, I was living in New York City. I liked Gavin. He was Canadian. I was very familiar with Vice from when it was a magazine still, and it was a big part of left subculture. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was like a part of that. I had his book Death of the Cool, which as much as I liked him even at the time of that book, I was a little bit like, this book is a real fucking hand job to himself. But he invented hipsterdom. He said he gentrified Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and I think that's a very funny thing to say because it's accurate. He sort of created all of this. I think Gavin deserves a lot of credit historically for creating what became alternative right-wing media. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people jumped on afterwards. He, of course, created the Proud Boys. He then, for some reason, gave it over to a Fed. And Fed is a thing that's going to be a theme coming up here in a second. Tariq, the head of Proud Boys, we know is a federal agent. I've literally seen the case file. That's not a conspiracy. The man is literally connected to the feds. So when people are like, "Oh, the Proud Boys," it's like, just understand they're controlled opposition. Patriot Front isn't even controlled opposition. It's straight up fake. Like, don't be confused that a lot of these things, a lot of the groups that associate with this are completely bullshit. Do you know that during COVID, do you know, I don't want to divulge too much about it, but I had a lot of access during the COVID period to like sensitive federal crime information. And there were very few charges about Proud Boys, about Antifa. Neither of these groups really were committing federal crimes. It was the Boogaloo Boys. You familiar with the Boogs?
No.
The Boogaloo Boys, they would wear like Hawaiian shirts. The name was in reference to to Electric Boogaloo. Why can I not?
Oh, Electric Boogaloo is the second.
Yes, it's something to Electric Boogaloo. Anyways, they love guns. Those boys were big gun boys, so they got a lot of federal charges. But you really didn't. The Proud Boys were the only ones that I feel like ever got into real life, and that was because they existed during COVID. And COVID was like a real Freddy Krueger time in life, where all of the things that should have only existed on the internet, we just made them we talked about them on the internet so much we made them real. Like all of a sudden Proud Boys actually were fighting Antifa on the street, and that should have never existed. That should have just stayed online. But anyways, so head of the Proud Boys, now a Fed. You don't have to worry about the Proud Boys. Andrew Tate is like pivoting to fucking like the center again. I think he's trying to make a move into like the center of the dickhead on things. But the man of the hour is a guy I weirdly met in Chicago once. It left no impression on me whatsoever. It is so weird that like so many of these figures, like how many of these people I've met? I've met Gavin. I've met Nick Fuentes. I know Dave. That's not that many. Anyways, I've met Michael Malice. But was around for the beginning of that. I met Nick Fuentes in like 2017 or 18 in Chicago. He had like, I didn't know even who he was. He wasn't that big at the time. It would have been like 19 or 20. Somebody in comedy knew him. I knew that he was like a right-wing guy, but nobody had really explained fully what he was. So I thought he was a comic, I guess, that was just doing sort of online right-wing trolley things. And it turns out instead I met a federal agent, which was not the first or last time that has happened with me. And so this interview was basically Tucker and Candace has been calling Nick a federal agent for a while now. And the theory essentially is the David Duke theory on Nick Fuentes. Are you familiar with David Duke?
Yeah, wasn't he the KKK leader?
Wasn't he? How dare you, sir? Like Fidel Castro, still head of the KKK.
Okay.
This man has been head of the KKK longer than Hazel McClellan was mayor of Mississauga. You familiar with Hazel McClellan?
Yes, I on principle I hated her, even if she was a good mayor. I have no idea.
It must have been a fantastic mayor. No one even run against her, which sounds like a dictatorship. But apparently she talked a guy off a roof once. That's like a famous Hazel McClellan story.
I hate Mississauga pride in her, so it has nothing to do. She's probably a wonderful woman. I bet I would like her, but the amount of pride, like our mayor Hazel, she's an old bag, and we love her. I'm like, I don't care.
And that was the thing they would always said. They said a couple things about her, that she talked a guy off a roof, and that she had been mayor longer than Fidel Castro was in charge of Cuba.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Anyways, the mayor of Mississauga, Hazel McClellan, look into it. I hope she like fucking fuck kids or something. We find out later. It'd be great if she was just disgraced. But so bring us to Nick Fuentes. I met him. Left no real impression on me. The David Duke thing is, yes, the head of the KKK. David Duke is probably a federal agent. He's controlled opposition, and the point is that you use David Duke to discredit what you don't like. So if David Duke is the head of the KKK and he goes, "Oh, I like you," now all of a sudden everywhere can go, the head of the KKK endorses this person for whatever. He's probably just controlled opposition. Like, how do you stay in charge of a hate group for 40 years? They hate. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine trying to be the CEO of anything in the entire world, right? Being the CEO is a hard job. Like being the president of a company, keeping all of those people happy. There's very rarely a CEO of a Fortune 500 company that's going to make it 40 years, 50 years being the head of that company. This guy is the head of a company that's literally based on hate. He keeps all of them happy in the hate group. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems unachievable that guy would not be ousted in a hate group, that they wouldn't eventually hate him at some point, you know?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So, anyways, what Tucker is basically trying to claim, and I think a lot of people looked at this interview as them making peace or like Tucker coming to some sort of understanding about this, but truly what I think it is more so he just quietly still thinks he's a Fed. Now, we want to go through this quick. I know we're a little long on the tooth on this right now, but I have a couple time markers. We'll go through really fast. If you can get us into 6 minutes, I believe, out the gates. It doesn't take long, about 6 minutes in, I believe. And let me just get these headphones in.
Sure, yeah, grab your... Oh, yeah, let me turn this...
And mean to his callers.
Yeah.
Vicious. And I like that. I thought that was funny.
So this is them talking about
But I'll never forget one show.
I don't know who Mark Levin is.
He was a normie, like, right-wing conservative radio talk show guy. Like, someone that even Tucker Carlson looked at as, like, mundane.
Gotcha.
He goes live and he says, America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good. I didn't really even think that America's becoming majority minority like that.
Wait, so you were radicalized on race by Mark Levin?
Yes.
Are you making that up? That's
a real story.
Okay, pause.
Amazing.
So that's the first moment you can tell right away that Tucker's like, that doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, you know, like that's the guy that got you into this. So you can tell Tucker doesn't really buy the story. So I'm just kind of building the case along. If you could skip ahead to 13 minutes now, he's going to talk about how when he moved to Boston to go to university, he was 18 years old and he was wearing a MAGA hat all the time, and he was approached about debating. He has like 100 Instagram followers. This is why what my belief is here, Sankar. Again, we referred to this on prior episodes. I believe Fuentes is an industry plant.
Right, gotcha. That's what I'm figuring out is what you mean.
Yes, is that, and I think that this this 13 minutes here is good evidence of him being an industry plant, in my opinion.
Douchebag progressive, and he's the student body president of the student government there. And so we set up the debate. It was about a week before the actual election. So I think it was end of October, beginning of November. And they hold it in this auditorium in the center of the campus, and like 300 people show up. So it turns into like this huge, and they're all liberal. They all hate my guts. They're heckling me the whole time. They're yelling at me. We do this debate about Trump versus Hillary. As well, I'm there, and I'm pro-Trump, and I say,
right away,
I think
there's nothing.
Trump's going to win, and I'm straight up like ripping the Ben Shapiro
to this debate. It's you just come out of nowhere. You have no following. The other guy's the student body president. Who could give a fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And now 300 kids want to show up, and you have to give some kindness and some whatever, or some understanding back to the time. Anything MAGA was so inflammatory that first 4 years that like I could see kids getting worked up, but 300 of them showing up, like that's an impressive draw.
Yeah.
There are stand-up comedians that you know well that can't get 300 people to show up for them for something like that. So like but there's a little bit more on the industry plant point here, and then we'll move on.
Talking points. I'm saying, it's got everything to do with culture and nothing to do with race, and diversity is a problem and all this. And I decisively win the debate. It's like not even close.
I just I'll do one pause only. And this, you told me about this, and I was listening to this part. It was this part that I was like, I don't really like this guy.
I decisively win the debate.
Yeah, it's obvious to everyone. I won the debate.
And also, it's like, how obvious could it be you won a debate in a room with 300 people that don't like you? Like, how hard did you crush this debate? Was it Rocky IV? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Did you stand in the middle of them and go, if I can change and you can change, we all can change? Like, what did you do? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it just felt a little pompous.
Yes.
But I think that's something that happens on both the right side of YouTube pundits and then the same thing on the left.
It happens in punditry. It is just sort of what punditry has to be.
The debate wraps up, and this girl who I think I had talked to her on Twitter once or twice comes running up to the stage after the debate, and it's Cassie Dillon. And at this time, she's a fellow at Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's company.
So that's what I'm talking about, industry plant-wise. He's 18 years old. He has 100 followers. He gets the school to set up this giant debate. 300 people show up, and all of a sudden, Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire is there to check it out. She goes to tell him she streamed it, and 10,000 people watched, and now they want to offer you jobs. It's just very whatever. If we go to 2928, I want to pull this as a sound clip. It's just Tucker telling him he thinks he's a liar to his face without actually saying it. Like, just the way Tucker says that's very interesting. I want to pull it to have as a clip on the show because I just so dismissive.
That's very interesting.
Good enough.
Yes.
And so that clip appears
That's all I needed. That's very interesting. We can skip 108 because that's basically just Tucker making the David Duke argument. And I don't really need to show you that. You get the idea. And then, so 140 is the last. I don't even remember what this is, to be completely honest with you. But
let's
140.
find out together. 138, 139, 46. That's probably the closest that I want to go without going over.
Said that, so he was like 5'5". I guess he was involved with drugs, actually, with his roommate. They sold drugs together, something like that. They had a falling out over the drug money or something like that. The roommate beat the shit out of him so bad he dropped out of school. He had this major falling out with the roommate, but they were close. Had a big falling out. The shooter took him to small claims court over some money.
Okay, so I just think I thought he sounded like a fucking liar. And I guess this guy was just in a downward. We can stop. So, honestly, if you go watch the rest of this I was really supposed to make Nick Fuentes sound like not a Fed, and all it did was make me further believe that he's a Fed. I really think he's controlled opposition, and he's making this pivot right now because he's got to this is this time to level up. And people will think that that's crazy, but don't forget that the CIA made the Scorpions write Winds of Change to end the Cold War. This is something that these organizations do. This is not crazy. Mm-hmm. So, okay, real quickly to wrap it up, just so liberals can kind of understand, I'm going to make a line of delineation here on who's okay. So we got okay. We can put them okay. I understand now if you're trans or something, this is going to be different, but I can't make this for every group. We can push these guys down. And then we're going to go. So, this is, we're good up here. Let's be charitable, Dave. That's not fair. So, this is the top tier conservatives you can listen to. These people are sort of interesting, whatever. He's dead, so he's really not. We can. We got Fuentes and BPD. These are just not similar. I mean, I feel like they'd be furious next to each other. And then these people you can kind of just ignore. These people are really just trying to get you mad. If you spend any time being mad about these ones, you're wasting your time. This guy actually cares about what he's saying. He cares about what he's saying. And these ones you can kind of listen to. I hope that was somewhat educational for people on the left to kind of get a better idea of who to be afraid of and who to whatever. Peterborough. I'm coming November 14th, Gordon Best Theatre, Barrie, Ontario. I will be there November 21st. Shelbourne, Ontario, November 28th. I will be in Sudbury with Yuck Yucks, December 5th. somewhere near like the Radisson. I don't know. That's where I stay. I might be in it. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
And then I will be headlining the downtown Toronto December 12th and 13th. And we're going to make up the Gananoque date. We rescheduled it because of Game 7. I wasn't going to go eat fucking a shit sandwich in Gananoque, Ontario on that one. So we're going to reschedule that one hopefully for mid-December. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Sanker, and have a good week. Thanks again for everything you do, Candace.